Hey guys, Jacob here, and I came across a video made by Godless Cranium in which he tries to argue a case for objective morality. And he argues against one of my videos, as you can see, which I call Atheism and Well-Being. So that's me in that little video clip right there. And it's going to be this video in my channel. Okay, you're going to see me wearing the same attire right here. It's called Atheism and Well-Being. And this video I made a day after I made this video called Morality and Atheism. Now, the only reason why I made Atheism and Well-Being the video is because of something that an atheist had a question for me in the video called Morality and Atheism. So as you can see, the Morality and Atheism video is 9 minutes long. And a day later, I made the video Atheism and Well-Being, which is only 3 minutes long. And I believe the reason why Godless Cranium chose to argue against the Atheism and Well-Being is because I don't present all the arguments I presented in my last video, which is called Morality and Atheism. So please check that video out. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and play some of that after we listen to what Godless Cranium had to say. Okay, so we're just going to see a little bit what he had to say.
Morality. Well, Jacob, theists like yourself are also trying to place some objective standard on the rest of us as well. The difference is that you can't even demonstrate that your objective standard exists, while it's fairly easy to demonstrate.
No, actually, my objective standard is based on the belief in a creator who has created an objective standard on which we can decide whether the changes in morality are good or bad. So based on this objective standard that we have, we can actually compare whether or not the new changes in society concerning morality are good or bad. Now, in your worldview, there is no such objective standard. All right. And everything is based on subjective opinion. Not everything. I guess you could say there are some aspects of your morality that is based on empathy and stuff like that. But we all know by looking at the reality that we live in that none of that accounts for all the diversity in morality that we observe today. I mean, some people might value dog. Well, in another society, they eat dog. Some people might value pigs, and well, here in America, we eat pigs. I mean, all these different diverse views have really, I mean, the belief in objective moral values in an atheist worldview cannot account for that diversity. Okay, now at least in a Christian's worldview, we believe that we have free will, that we have a free willed spirit. Okay, that the processes occurring in our head is all based on a free willed spirit and not just chemical reactions, and therefore valueless and without any real objective purpose. So let's just keep watching your senseless video.
That most people care about well-being, especially when it correlates to their well-being. Your supposed objective morality is also filtered through a book, which scholars and theologians have fought over since it was written down. Each person who reads that book subjectively evaluates it and comes...
Now, actually, we're not concerned with our own well-being. Christianity teaches that our well-being is already secured in Christ, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, who died for our sins. Now, we live a moral life for the sake of helping others and hoping that they come to Christ to also receive God's grace and mercy to receive heaven.
To their own conclusion. They then might try to convince other people that their interpretation is correct with varying degrees of success. However, while I do agree that well-being is important, for me it isn't the ground floor of my morality. By that I mean it isn't the foundation that my ethics is grounded in. So I'm going to take some time now to lay out the very basic foundational idea I rest my ethical framework on. For those listening, I want to reiterate that this is just the basic foundation stone associated with my ethics.
Yeah, because it has to be a basic foundation, because I mean, it can't account for all the diversity in morality seen in our reality, seeing and how people use their morals. I mean, it has to be very basic because it wouldn't be able to account for nothing. I mean, all the changes, in that we actually see in morality.
Obviously, ethical frameworks are a group of ideas, and it would be impossible to lay it all out in one video. But if there's interest, I might continue to lay out my system of ethics in future videos. So please let me know if that's something that interests you in the comment section below. Let's get into it.
Yeah, but I mean, in the end, it's all based on your perspective. But in the reality of things that we actually observe in society, it really has no bearing.
For a practitioner of one of the Abrahamic religions, their ethical framework likely rests on there being a divine being, a god, that has set out objective moral laws. I've already pointed out some of the problems that arise when asserting this, but as an atheist,
What problems arise when you assert an objective moral lawgiver? I mean, is there problems when you assert it in the belief of, for example, let's say the laws that govern nature? No, I mean, you might say, well, if there is an objective moral code, then people should be inclined to follow it. And no, but in reality, in the Christian belief system, humans have free will. First of all, humans have the free will inclination to decide whether to do good or bad. They're not, they don't have to follow God's moral law. So, I mean, there's no actual problem there. If there is, then I'd like to hear it.
Obviously don't believe in a moral lawgiver. So, my ethics must rest on some other idea, and it's simply this. Human beings have value. I think most people hold this to be true, although you can certainly find exceptions. But even the exceptions would likely agree that their life has value, and
they could say, yeah, human beings have value, but even the exceptions, I mean, some of them may even believe that they don't have value. They're just scared. They're just scared to die. I mean, they're inclined to live because they don't like pain. But I mean, that doesn't have any bearing on people's moral views or religious views. And it doesn't take into account all the diversity that we see in morality in different societies and in different social groups. I mean, it has nothing to be able, it doesn't describe anything as to why there is so much diversity.
Would seek to protect it. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, there's no good reason why someone else should accept my claim that human beings have value. To this, I would say,
no, I wouldn't say that, but I'd say that it would be based on nothing but mere illusory thought processes that really have no purpose apart from themselves. It's just circular logic. That's all that is.
I think you're wrong. I think there are very good reasons to accept the idea that human beings have value.
Like, well, human beings have value, therefore they do have value. I mean, the reasons are all circular. They're all based on human logic. You can't show me evidence for why humans have value apart from your thought process, is basically what I'm saying.
Among those reasons, and maybe even the most important of them, are selfish motivations, such as the fact that they're human.
So humans are selfish, therefore they have value? That's not even an argument.
And they likely want others to view them as being valuable or important. Otherwise, they're likely in for a world of pain. If no one sees you as being valuable...
Well, sure, I mean, I could value some people and not value others. I could be mean and cruel to other people. I mean, that's like what I said on almost all my other videos. The most logical belief system for an atheist is nihilism, where you basically do good to those you love and value, but do all the evil things also, as long as it benefits you. I mean, doing evil can benefit you also. I mean, you do evil things for selfish reasons also. So do all the evil things as long as you know that you can get away with it. I mean, that's basically nihilism. That's basically the atheists. It goes with your worldview.
Then it's likely not going to be long before someone comes to kill, rape, or steal from you. This is why murderous regimes tend to dehumanize their victim.
All that happens in almost every society. I mean, it's not only in murderous, whatever that means, regimes. It happens everywhere, actually. And it's done for selfish reasons, and many people do get away with it.
If the victims aren't seen as being human, it's easier to do them harm, and relieves you of the burden of considering your shared...
I think a lot of people who are murderers aren't sociopaths. They're not psychopaths. They know people are human. They're not stupid. They just get gratification from that. And it's really not, I mean, I would believe in an atheist worldview, it's not, you can't really say that it's wrong unless there's an objective higher standard, a standard that exists beyond human thought, on which we can decide whether the changes in morality are good or bad, or that we can compare to. We would have to compare those changes in morality to the objective standard, and you have no objective standard.
Humanity. I would also argue that the inventors of religions such as Christianity realized that this principle is important because they've incorporated it within their religion. For example, Christianity generally teaches that human beings have value, but they do it by asserting humans have value because they were made in God's image. They also tend to demonize groups.
Not necessarily. I mean, sure, we say that, humans have value because God created them with this sense of innate value, but it's not simply because they are made in his image. I mean, to us, even animals have value. In a biblical sense, we could say animals have value because they serve God's purpose.
The people that don't adhere to their beliefs or who fall outside of
God being the purpose giver.
The moral, social norms laid out by that particular religious group. This can lead to devastating results. I honestly don't think you need the added step of asserting the existence of a God, because you can acknowledge the importance of a principle such as humans having value without one. Empathy, our ability to step into someone else's shoes, is another tool we've evolved as a species, and this also helps to realize the notion that human beings have value. Once you can place yourself in someone else's shoes, you can visualize what it's like to be them, and imagine what it would feel like if you were being treated in the same manner they were, or are, being treated.
But like I said, I mean, that's ideal. Sure, that's ideal. But in the reality that we observe, that is far beyond true. I mean, people who do harm to others all the time do have empathy. They do have that, but it's not the only factor. Other factors include rationality, our ability to rationalize the purpose of our existence, why we exist. I mean, it's not the only factor. Empathy is basically based on emotionalism, and that's what that is. It's emotionalism.
Our species has been so successful in part because we're able to work cooperatively in massive groups. In order to realize our potential,
why should I, after I die, care about future generations? I mean, I'm gone. It's like I never existed. And in fact, that's what I talked about in that other video in which you completely ignored, because I assume that you know that I'm right in that video, and which I'll play here pretty soon.
It's in our best interest to value human life so we can continue to thrive as a species. While this one guiding principle isn't capable of tackling all ethical questions, it does go a long way towards solving most of the ones we deal with on a daily basis.
Not really.
If you can accept that human beings have value, if you can empathize with them.
But let's go to the video that you intentionally ignored.
Morality is how we base value on other people. And that's the core of morality. The core principle of morality is the value that we place on life. Specifically,
there you go, Godless Cranium. Why are you acting like I didn't already address that? See, even in this video, you can see Godless Cranium little snarky response to what I said. He says, "Oh, Jacob, still struggling with ethics." So let's just continue.
Human life. And I mean, there's people who would say it could also extend to animal life. But the main point is that we have to understand the core to all of morality is how we value life. And we have to understand that not everyone values life the same. Just like some people don't value animal life and others do. And at the same time, some people might value animal life, but they don't really value human life. But the funny thing is that when you look at life,
and that includes like the depopulation of our society. I mean, there's a lot of atheists who believe that we should depopulate our society, do things, like killing the elderly or whatever, to help create the prosperity of the next generation, right? So that's part of that problem.
In a scientific perspective, in a perspective of, let's say, an atheist, does life really have any true value? I mean, if all the stuff that makes us think, to rationalize, is chemical reactions and processes, run by our biology, and if we say, we have value, does that mean that we have value? Like just because I think that I have value, does that mean that I have value? And if not, and if that's circular reasoning, then who's to say that I have value? Who's to say that you have value? And we know that in a secular worldview, life is finite. It's like a dream that passes by you. You go to sleep and you wake up. Most of our dreams we don't even remember. Does a dream have true value? Does a dream that you wake up from have any significance? Would you risk your life for a dream? Of course not, because a dream has no value in that sense. It's all in our heads. But let's say that you're in a dream, and to you, sometimes we have dreams and we think it's real. We think we're really in the dream. Does that dream at that moment have any true value? And then let's say you wake up and you realize it was just a dream. Does it then still have any real value? Of course not. It doesn't. It doesn't. So I don't see how people can live with this concept that all we are is these chemical reactions, because if this is true, then morality is bogus. There is no such thing as true, something being true or something being wrong.
All right.
One individual could rape and harm another person, and to them, if morality really is this subjective to the point to where we're the ones claiming that morality has any value, then to them it wouldn't necessarily be wrong. Nature has nothing to say about what is right or wrong. Science has nothing to say about what is right or wrong. Science only observes the habits and behaviors of different animals, okay? That's all it does. It observes, it doesn't dictate. But we as human beings can determine value. And that gives us more power. It gives us the ability to say what has value and what doesn't as individuals and as societies. So, and let's say that your society claims something's right and something's wrong. Okay, of course there's going to be people who disagree. But let's say you move into another society which claims something as being wrong and something as being right, something that your old society contradicts. Their morals, the moral rules of your old society contradicts with the society that you're living in now. Who's right and who's wrong? You were born with a set of values. So,
as you can see, there's not an objective standard on which to be able to decide, to be able to compare to.
And some people say, well, rationality, it's based on rationality. Okay? But so is war. War is based on rationality. Survival of the fittest could be based on rationality, depending on the circumstance that you're living in. So what is truly moral? What is right? And I just can't...
Was it rational for, let's say, some of the Germans to take in Jewish refugees and to save them from being taken by the Nazis, to be persecuted, to hide them? Was it rational for them to do that?
See morality existing in an atheist worldview. At least morality that is objective, that is true and right, no matter the circumstance. But if you're given this perspective, then atheists can't say that something is truly wrong, like rape, or let's say child molestation, or let's say whatever you want to just put in there, murder. You can't really say that it's wrong. You just prefer.
And I'm not sure if Godless Cranium had addressed this in my video. I think he kind of skipped it. But I also said that, let's say you had $20, right? And these $20, you can invest in your future. You can invest in your children's future. You can invest in the value and the well-being of those you actually value. Now, let's say there's a poor man, someone on the street, someone who you may never see again. And let's say you have those $20 or $100, whatever amount you want to insert there. Let's just say $100. And it's up to you. Do you want to give your $100 to this poor man because you empathize with him? You know, let's say you're sad about him being in the state that he is. Perhaps it wasn't his fault that he's where he's at, and that you know with his $100 he's going to use it to buy food and shelter or clothes or whatnot. Now, are you going to give those $100 to him for his well-being, or are you going to save it for yourself, for your own well-being? This is what I mean, that well-being is based on rationality, and that well-being or value of oneself or of other individuals cannot account for at all for all the diversity in morals.
Great, not to be that way, because you've been indoctrinated. You grew up in a certain way, thinking a certain way about life. And the most rational perspective, I still believe, in an atheist worldview is nihilism, which basically says, do everything that benefits you, whether it be moral or immoral, as long as it benefits you in some fashion. And I think that's just an entirely selfish, and entirely, I think that there's a name for that type of thinking, kind of like psychotic, and it's really sad, you see these people thinking that they're getting this knowledge, becoming smart, and like I say, I disagree all the time with atheists about things, I disagree with them on abortion, on the Second Amendment, on the death penalty, on a variety of different topics, and that just shows me that morals can be, or more likely are, in a sense, subjective in an atheist worldview. Now, in a Christian's worldview, morality would be based on the creator of the universe. Everything he dictates the world to be. Just like you look at nature, you look at the laws of nature, you look at science, thermodynamics, stuff like that. There's no way that you can say that is not true. You can't say that the sun's not made out of gas, hot gases and whatnot, because that's just the truth. And so that would apply to morality. But the reason why there are so many differences and opinions about morals and stuff like that is because we are ignorant of truths. Just because you don't know about thermodynamics doesn't mean that thermodynamics isn't a law that rules nature. Just because you don't know about the Big Bang doesn't mean that the Big Bang didn't happen. We're all subject to ignorance. So that's why people...
Just because you don't know that persecuting and killing Jews is wrong doesn't mean that it's not wrong.
Have different views about morality, about what is right and what is wrong. Some people stand on the scale set by God, the scale that dictates even science. So, guys, tell me what you think.
Alright guys, so let's go back to Godless Cranium's video, because I kind of recall something that he said that was very disingenuous, which I'd expect from an atheist, of course. So let's see here. Wait for the silly commercial.
Again, the same standards that I said in my last video apply to the idea of well-being. For example,
see, my last video,
why is it
the video we just watched, which Godless Cranium just totally disavowed,
that different societies disagree with one another on standards of well-being? Why is it that I disagree with most of you on standards of well-being concerning abortion, the death penalty,
and refining our ethics to achieve them? As time goes by, the refinement continues.
You're refining it based on what exactly, Godless Cranium? You need a higher standard, an objective standard of which you can compare to the changes of morality. Okay?
It's very likely that if our species survives another 500 years, future generations will look back at us in the same way we look at our slave-holding ancestors. It's likely that they'll wonder why we didn't see how...
So he's even saying that his current morality may even be wrong.
Unethical some of our practices are.
And that again shows us that well-being is indeed have value, and this is still very much circular logic.
We do it all the time, Jacob. Every day you buy food, clothing, housing, etc. using bits of paper we call money. We've assigned that paper value. That value rests entirely on all of us agreeing that it has value. You don't see...
No, not necessarily. So let's see what I said. You know, and the funny thing is, and sorry for the video might be kind of odd because I'm going sideways, but just listen to what I had to say, okay? So at 8:15, at the point where Godless Cranium starts talking about us assigning value, I say my belief in objective moral law coincides with every value I have, and that includes my value of fine jewelry, gold, and therefore money. Money being based on the gold standard. Yes, God says he made these metals and they are of some value. Furthermore, it's the government that says gold has value to it, and thus it is willing to accept my note payment of gold in exchange for goods and commodities. By partaking in its system of money, I am only acknowledging that the government places value on money, on gold, which is basically I owe you gold notes. So if you guys don't know this, money is basically gold. It represents gold that you own, that the government holds for you. So I put in exchange of their value of gold. In exchange of their value of gold, I get things that I really value, like a house, a car. Sorry, but you're still using poor logic, Cranium. Also, you completely skipped my previous video on this topic, which clarifies my argument further. He also deleted, I guess, the end of my video from this critique, which I find very insincere. And so I would recommend watching both of my videos fully in the full context of them. All right. And no, the only reason I place value on money is because the government places value on it. And I'm only by observing that money has value, I'm only observing that the government believes it to have value, and therefore I give it what it values in exchange for what I value, which is really like a house, a car, a TV, and stuff like that for entertainment. So guys, tell me what you think about Godless Cranium's so-called critique or answers to the objective struggle in ethics of morals and whatnot, and you have a blessed day.